Rajeshwari MJ. She pursued her BE in Electrical and Electronics at the People's Education Society College of Engineering, Mandya. She pursued her MTech in VLSI Design and Embedded Systems at the Sri Jagadguru Balagangadharanta Institute of Technology, Bangalore. Her personal skills lie in good verbal and written communication skills. Her areas of interest lie in OOPS with C++, renewable energy sources, HVDC transmission, digital relays, automotive electronics, advances in VLSI design. She has also had papers presented at the national level, such as the Innovative Architecture for SoC Multi-Core Hybrid Processor, presented at the RNSIT, Bangalore.
Welcome to UGC lecture series of BSc Physics Honours. Today we are dealing with the subject electronic devices. In this session, we are going to cover some of the topics of semiconductor diodes. We already discussed in the previous session that the basics of semiconductors and also the characteristics of PN junction diode and different modes, that is forward bias mode and the reverse bias mode, that is what we are going to continue from the previous session now. And also in this session, we are going to discuss about conductivity and mobility of a in a diode. So, how the conduction takes place in the PN junction and what does the mobility means in a PN junction will be discussed. So, very first thing, that is reverse biased PN junction. So, the biasing is basic concept and it is a must for a diode. Due to the biasing only we can able to make a circuit comes in alive, because whenever we give the external voltage, then only we can able to study what is the properties of electronic device with the applied voltage. So, biasing in the sense we already know it is connecting the external voltage to the electronic device is called as biasing. So, in a reverse biasing, it is a type of biasing where the P region is connected to the negative of reverse biasing voltage and the N region of a PN junction diode is connected to the positive of a reverse biasing diode. This is exactly how we connected in the forward bias. It is opposite to that in a reverse bias. Here we can also observe this can be also represent with the symbol of a diode. This is a diode symbol. Here this positive is connected to the negative of a supply and the negative is connected to the positive of the supply voltage. This form of connection is going to help us in the studying of reverse bias, and whenever the diode connected in this form it is going to be in a reverse bias mode. So, and also this can be having we can observe here the PN junction, it is having a wider depletion layer here. Why it is having wider depletion layer? Because whatever the supply or voltage that we are going to vary, that will directly affects the barrier width. So, the barrier width if increase the voltage in the forward bias, the barrier width will be decreased, that is what the effect in the forward bias. Similarly, in the reverse bias it is opposite to that. Whenever we increase the voltage, the barrier width also increases. So, there will be no conduction. So, increase in the barrier width in the sense there will be no motion of electrons or holes across the PN junction, there will be no current. That is what we can observe in the circuit here, that is I is equal to 0 for a reverse bias mode of a diode, and the diode can be represent here as an open circuit switch also. So, this diode will be react in a reverse bias mode as a open circuit, whereas in forward bias it is react as a closed circuit. So, closed switch it is going to react as a closed switch, in reverse bias it is going to react as a open switch. So, the electron and hole motions when we are going to connect in a reverse bias mode, it is can be observed here with the help of a picture. So, this is a depletion region where we can find the positive donor atoms in the N region and negative acceptor atoms in the P region. So, this is the depletion layer, and when the positive terminal is connected to N region and negative terminal is connected to P region, this is negative. So, there will be some of the few electrons may present in a P region that will be moving away because of like poles repels each other, it will moving away. This is the direction where the electrons flow, and the holes present in the p region will going to attract here because of unlike poles, and similarly in n region the electron is moving towards the p terminal. So, this is because of again the difference in the poles, this is positive, this is negative, that is why the electron is attracting towards a positive terminal. So, here the flow of electron is whenever we are going to give the supply voltage, due to this the negative voltage which is going to pull away, this will going to pull away here, and the positive voltage this will going to deplete attracts here. The depletion region for certain voltage will be increased here. So, after when we increase the voltage, as the voltage is increased, the depletion region will going to be reduced. So, the electrons that present in a p region will acquire sufficient energy to cross the depletion region. So, at this point the diode in the reverse bias mode is called as breakdown, it is going to be in a breakdown condition, and the voltage or the particular voltage at which the breakdown occurs is called as a breakdown voltage. After the breakdown voltage, with a small change in the voltage, there will be a large change in the current. So, this can be observed with the characteristics of reverse bias in a PN junction. So, this is the reverse bias region that what we discussed now. So, with the change in a voltage, that is VR is what the reverse voltage that we applied across the voltage in a reverse bias mode is called as VR reverse voltage. If we change the reverse voltage like this, changing till here we did not observe any major change in the current. So, the change in the current here it is very less, and after this, that is minus Vz or the breakdown voltage that we can say, whenever the voltage reaches here, the current changes abruptly, and this current will be abruptly changing, and this is called as reverse breakdown region, where for a small change of voltage there will be large change in the current can be appeared here. That is why it is called as a reverse breakdown region. So, this and the current flows in a reverse bias mode, it is of very small amperes, that is in milliamps can say, and it is represented as a reverse current here, and because the reverse current is mainly due to the minority carriers. So, the whatever the current that we observed in the reverse current, it is due to the minority carriers, and it is called as reverse current. So, next we move on to another concept, that is the origin of electric conductance. Now onwards we are going to concentrate on studying of conductivity and mobility. So, for studying conductivity and mobility in a diode, we need to know some of the basic things. So, the origin of electric conductance we have to study now. So, how the conductance is actually take place in a material. So, here we can observe we have taken an element that is an atom, that is Au aluminum as a conductor. We are going to study here, not a semiconductor here. For basic concept of conductivity, we are taken as a metal here. So, here we can observe the conductivity is always present in a metal. So, because of conduction band and valence band in a conductor is merged together, so the probability of conductivity is more in metal. So, for our study, the conductor we have taken here is aluminum. So, free electrons can freely move along the crystal. That is the first property of a metal, when the free electrons that is already present in the conduction band will move across the crystal like this, the motion will be like this. That is what we can indicated here. This is a free electron present here that can be moved randomly inside the crystal, and the kinetic energy comes from the lattice vibrations. How this electrons moves? Because the kinetic energy of the electron is due to because of the lattice movement of vibrations. For a small vibration also, the kinetic energy can be acquired by the free electrons, and it can move randomly inside the crystals. And in equilibrium, free electrons move randomly inside the crystal. So, in equilibrium also the free electron that is present in a conduction band that moves inside the crystal. So, next the electron mobility in crystals. So, we know how the conduction takes place because of the free electron presence in the conductance bands. It will move inside the crystals due to the vibration, it will take a kinetic energy. So, the electron will flow inside the crystal. So now the electron mobility in crystals. So equilibrium conditions, no electric field is applied. So whenever we consider an equilibrium condition, we do not apply any electric field, any external field to the crystal. For free electron experience very frequent collisions with atoms in the metal. So whenever we consider it, that we are not applying any electric field, the free electrons will move due to the collision in between them. The electrons acquire the kinetic energy due to the vibration of the lattice, and it will going to collide randomly for the adjacent atoms. So this will be continue. As a result, it moves randomly, and which will going to produce, and the velocity that how it will move inside the crystal, it is having 105 meter per second, and also on average the electron does not go anywhere, but it is bound to inside a compound, it is bound to inside a material, it does not eject from it, it will be randomly moved inside the crystal. And also average electric current is equal to 0 here. So because it is not moving anywhere, so the average electric current is 0 here because of this nature, because inside the crystal, due to the kinetic energy it is acquired by the vibration of a crystal, it will move randomly inside the material or crystal. It is like this, like we can say here, and finally whatever the movement may be the electron, the net result or the current flow here, it is 0. Next, electron mobility in crystals, and we can find when electric field is applied, the second condition. So before we studied without applying the electric field. Now what will be the changes for the mobility if we apply the electric field? There is an electric field, that is F is equal to E and E. This is the charge of electron, and this is the electric field that is applied, and F is the electric force that is exerting on any free electron. Whenever we apply the electric field, that force that we are going to apply for an electron. So this force will going to be affects the motion of an electron. So the electrons still experience very frequent random collisions, and also after each collision the electron's velocity has a component toward the positive electrode against the field direction. So it is always towards the positive direction, but in case of electric field we applied, that collision is always towards the positive direction. And here we need to observe that without electric field the current the motion of the electrons will give the 0 current, and when we give the electric field, the electrons will move towards the positive direction, and on average the electron drifts from negative electrode towards a positive. So it is moving in a positive direction. So it the characteristics is changed from applying electric field and without applying electric field. Here there is a current flowing through the metal. Now we can observe with the picture where we can see this is how the randomly the current is moved previously without applying electric field. When we apply the electric field, this electric field is the electrons will move like this in a random fashion, and it is moved from negative electrode towards the positive electrode, and applied electric field will be like this in this direction. So this will going to produce a conduction or electric, we can observe the current in the metal. Next we move on to the important things, how this the conductivity will going to depends on electric field. Let us ignore the random collisions and only monitor the drift in the electric field. So the collisions that we won't consider, only the drift that is occurs in the electrons that we are going to consider here. So average electron velocity is proportional to electric field applied. So the velocity is directly or approximately proportional to the electric potential. So this can be rewritten as V is equal to mu E. Mu E is the constant is called as electron mobility, that is given by that is again we can rewrite the above equation for mobility. So mobility is equal to V, that is velocity divided by electric potential. This is what the mobility of an electrons. Due to the conduction of an electron and its property, by applying the electric field and after studying these two conditions, we can able to enhance that without considering the collision, random collision, and it is only consider the drift that occurs in electron, we can able to find the mobility of an electron, that is V by E. Though, so mobility is directly proportional to velocity and it is inversely proportional to electric field. So, the electric current and conductivity. So, the conductivity that we already know, and now we are going to move towards the electric current. So, here we consider a cylinder which is having a cross section wire of area A. A is a wire cross section area A, and electron is flowing in this direction, and V is applied voltage. The electric current is here is given by I is equal to Q N V A. So, here Q and E is both are same, that is the electric charge, that is equal to 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 19 coulombs. So, whenever it is mentioned Q or E, it is same, that is electric charge. So, the current is given by I is equal to Q N V into A. So, N is the number of electron, V is the velocity, and A is the wire cross section area. So, electron velocity is always again can be written in terms of mobility, that is mu E, where the electric field E can be again written as V by L. So, now the drift velocity becomes like this. So, V is equal to mu V divided by L. The current becomes, now we apply this V there, which is given by Q and mu A V by L. So, electric current equation can be represented in the terms of mobility here. So, this can be useful. So, as the mobility increases, from the expression that we got, as the mobility increases, the current also increases. And also we need to find the conductivity. This, from this we can able to find the conductivity, that is a delta, the small delta, that is equal to Q N mu is the conductivity of the material, which is a reciprocal of a resistivity, and I is equal to this we are going to substitute this delta value in the I, so that the I can be rewritten as I is equal to delta into A divided by L into V, which is what the current equation that can be represented in conductivity and also in mobility. With the help of mobility also we can represent the current equation, current expression, and also with the help of conductivity we can express the current. So, in both the cases the current is increasing the mobility, and also the current increases as the conductivity is increased. So, conductivity and resistance, that we are going to discuss the relationship between the conductivity and resistance here. So, we already know that the conductivity and the current equation will be I is equal to delta A divided by L into V, is what the current equation with respect to taking into account the conductivity also. So, rho can be written as Q N nu. So, mu is here is the conductivity of the material. So, delta is what we already know the conductivity, and mu is a mobility. So, IV relationship can be rewritten again, that IV relation we can rewritten this relation, we can rewritten V is equal to 1 by delta into L by A into I. So, here this equation we need to compare this with the Ohm's law. So, this IV expression here, and also we compare this expression with the Ohm's law, that is V is equal to R into I. This term, entire term we can consider as an R. So, that can be rewritten as R is equal to 1 divided by 1 divided by delta L divided by A is what R, that is a resistance. So, this is the relations between the conductivity and the resistance. So, the relationship between resistance, conductivity and resistance is now made clear with this discussion. So, in the previously we are discussed about resistance and conductivity. Now, we are move towards the relationship of resistivity also. So, the resistance of sample with conductivity and that is delta, and also the length L and the cross section area is A here, that we consider, and also the conductivity, that is delta, is proportional to the free electron concentration in the sample. So, this is the free electron concentration, that is with the help of conductivity equation we come to know the conductivity is proportional to the free electron concentration and the electron mobility also. And this is relationship, that is what we find with the help of conductivity. So, the conductivity is directly proportional to free electron concentration, that is N, and the electron mobility mu, and N which is in the per cube is the volume of electron per cubic meter is a free electron concentration. This is the Q is the charge of electron. So, mu, that is the mobility, is the electron mobility, and it is defined by again mu is equal to V divided by E. Is we are recalling and we are rearranging all this for finding a relationship between the resistivity. So, the resistivity R, so using R we can find this, the rho is always, the resistivity is always reciprocal of conductivity, is what the definition of a resistivity. Resistivity is a reciprocal of conductivity. So, we know the conductivity equation, that is rho is equal to 1 by delta is what the resistivity, and R also we come to know with the help of this resistivity R, that is ohm into meter, using R, that we can represent like this. Whenever this is what the resistivity here, we can replace the resistivity here in the R equation, that is R is equal to this rho is actually what indicates the resistivity in R. So, R can be 1 by delta, that is one conductivity. So, that conductivity can be rewritten in the R expression, that can be represented like R is equal to rho into L by A. So, next we move on to current density in conductor. So, what is the current density? The electric current is, we already know, that is I is equal to Q and V. The current per unit area is what the current density. So, that is represented as J, and it is equal to 1 by A, and A is, we know that we can substitute here I value, that is Q N V into A divided by A gets cancelled. So, J is Q N V is what the current per unit area, and also V, this velocity of electron can be rewritten with the help of mobility and with the relationship of mobility and electric field. So, J is equal to Q N mu E is what the current density in conductor, where N is the number of electrons per unit value here. So, conductivity in some conductor, that is what the basic concept that we can carry for the semiconductor also, because the same the motion of electron and hole is what the expressions that we find out is only based on the electron movement. So, the same electron movements will be possible in the semiconductor also, and this property we can be useful for finding the same current density, and whatever the mobility and conductivity will be same, and it is carried to the semiconductor also. So, now we are going to discuss about the drift current. So, the drift current, it is possible due to the collision of electron movement randomly inside the material, inside the crystal. This will going to form a drift current. So, the drift current is given by Jp in p type, whatever the subscript here represent p, in the sense it is p type for p type material or p type semiconductor. So, this is the current density in p type, and the drift is equal to Qp mu, and p is represent because of a p type, and again is similarly we can express this for n type also. Here minus indicates the negative n type material, and also the total drift current will be the p and n types. For a semiconductor we need to consider. So, where the total current will be p plus n, that is the number of holes. P is the number of electron per unit area, n is the number of electrons per unit volume, and p is the number of holes in a unit volume. So, that is what we consider here in conductivity in semiconductor. Means the semiconductor consists of hole as a minority carrier or majority carrier, and also electron as a majority carrier and minority carrier, depending on the type of material. But that is why in general expression it will going to have both hole and electron. So, for drift, total drift, it has to be considered with the hole current density and also the electron current density. This can be the final expression after this substituting here. So, finally the total drift of current density will be a multiple of electric field multiplied by conductivity. This is what the delta represent the conductivity. So, conductivity now we move towards N and P type, particularly for N type and particularly for P type. Now, we are considering for the conductivity. So, conductivity relationship for intrinsic, first we consider, that is Q into N nu N plus P nu P, where the N and P here represent number of electrons and number of holes. And for particularly for N type, where number of electron is much greater, so we will neglect this, remaining will give us the N type semiconductor conductivity expression, that is this what we get for the N type. And similarly we neglect this part for a P type, the remaining part will going to give the P type semiconductor, where the holes is much greater than electron. Next we move on to diffusion current. So, in a diffusion current is what the current is formed when an electron is moving from one place to another, from n type to p type. The diffusion will go into place because of the potential gradient. The potential gradient will going to make the electron to move from higher concentration to lower concentration. So, due to this electron movement, there is a current possibility of current flow. That current is called as diffusion current. So, here we consider due to thermal induced random motion, mobile particles tend to move from a region of higher concentration to a region of lower concentration. So, this current flow due to mobile charge diffusion is proportional to the carrier concentration gradient. So, the carrier concentration gradient will be proportional with the charge diffusion, that is a mobile charge diffusion. So, the diffusion current within a semiconductor consists of hole and as well as current components within it. So, this will be represented with this, that is the diffusion current will be equal to minus q into xp. What is the distance that is present inside the depletion layer. So, the xp is the depletion, the penetration of p, the depletion layer penetration into the p type is the distance. There will be a distance of depletion layer that penetrates into the p type, that is a distance, that is xp. And here xn represents the distance of depletion layer or width of depletion layer that penetrates into the n type. So, similarly for J total difference, diffusion current will be adding these two will give the total diffusion current. So, finally, we come to the total current in a semiconductor. So, we have drift and diffusion. The total current in a semiconductor will be a sum of drift current as well as diffusion current. The total current will be like this, we can represent with all the holes and electron drift, and diffusion current will be the total current, and the characteristic constant for drift and diffusion are related by the Einstein's relations. This is Einstein relation where x divided by mu is equal to kT divided by q, and this kT divided by q is approximately equal to 26 millivolt at room temperature, and this is often referred to as a thermal voltage. So, finally, we come to the end of this session where initially we discussed about reverse bias mode of operation in a PN junction. Due to the reverse bias mode of operation, there will be no current flow initially when the voltage is applied. There will be very less or more, there will be no current, we can say. The width of the depletion layer will be increased as we apply the voltage. When there will, after certain voltage, due to the breakdown, the depletion layer, there will be a possibility of current occurs due to the small change in voltage. That is called as a reverse breakdown, and the region is called reverse breakdown region. So, the voltage at which the reverse breakdown occurs is called reverse bias or Zener voltage, or the VZ we can represent as, and also the current that appears in the reverse bias mode is due to the minority charge carriers, and also this current in the reverse bias mode is called as a reverse current. And also we discussed about the conductivity, the motion of electron in a crystal and also in a semiconductor, that is we carried out from the metal, and also we till the semiconductor electron motion we derived the equation, that is we also come across the total current that is present in the semiconductor. The total current is due to the diffusion current and as well as drift current. Drift current is due to the random movement of electron, and diffusion current is due to the potential gradient, and the sum of this will give the total current, and the mobility will be appear due to the random movement of electron. And finally, we come across all the diffusion current that is produced in a semiconductor when the electron moves from a potential of higher concentration to the lower concentration. Some of the questions of this session are: explain the VI characteristics for reverse bias, describe how the barrier potential affects the VI curve of reverse bias, what is diffusion current. References are www.allaboutscircuits.com, www.electronicstutorial.com, Electronic Devices and Circuit Theory by Robert Boylestad Louis Nashkelsky is a textbook reference, and also one more textbook is Electronic Circuits and Devices by Alan Motorshed. This ends the session. Thank you.